Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Just Kidding with John and Kevin. My name is Kevin. Last episode we were talking about our movies and kind of a little bit of us.
This is episode number 4.
This is episode number 4. And instead of going off of like what we were saying with the hobbies, collectibles, and sports like we said we were going to, we're going to kind of hit a little bit more of a somber note today. We're going to go yesterday for us. By now it'd be 2 weeks ago or so. The whole Boston bombing thing happened.
No, that was yesterday.
It was yesterday?
April 15th, yeah.
April 15th, the bombing in Boston happened. And to start off, we're going to definitely start off with sending our condolences to everybody and anybody that it happened to, or any friends and family of anybody in the area. We're sorry that it happened. There's nothing that we can really control on that, but we do send our deepest condolences to anybody and everybody that has any effect of this.
Tragic.
We're kind of speechless about it, but like we said in our first podcast, our mission statement is basically positivity and bringing positivity to us and to our audiences. I know this isn't a positive message, but we're going to try to make it into as positive as we can.
Which is why we want to start off talking about this first. You know, we wanted to talk about collectibles and hobbies and just, about like a lot of stuff we get into personally, things that we enjoy, but we understand that, that stuff can wait. I mean, it's not, hobbies are great and everything like that, but we understand that, with the events that happened in Boston, this is real life. People's lives, and sending a positive message out about that means way more than any collectible, could. So, kind of wanted to touch on that today. And I know as of right now, I've been kind of following it because I'm hoping people start to recover, and I'm hoping they find the guy or girl. I don't know who it is. But as of this morning, it was 3 were confirmed. 3 were confirmed dead. There were 8 people in critical condition, and as of the last count I saw, I think the number was went from 133 people to 150, I believe, is what they reported on. So even if I'm off a little bit, you kind of understand, what exactly happened, with that. I mean, obviously it was nothing that would take down like a city block, but it was large enough to hit a small crowd of people.
And definitely do some damage. And we feel like we were very, very sorry for anything that's happened, and we just want to definitely send out any positivity that you can take from this. Please take as much as you can, because like we said originally, our message here is just positivity. And I know we haven't touched on that too terribly much. Like with each podcast, we haven't said much about it, but it's still in there. It's still found.
We're trying to find our footprints, and we just started this up. We have no background in radio or podcasts or anything like that. We're just kind of figuring this out as it goes. But I mean, with this podcast, it's something we want to hit on. And I'll tell you what bothers me the most is one of the people that passed away was an 8-year-old boy. Now I don't know the name of the child, but I can't even imagine the stuff that is going through the parents' head. You got to understand.
Even the parents' head. I mean, I know the parents are taking it probably the worst, but even anybody, like 8 years old. I mean, he has no enemies. He has no one who's against him. Like, what could he possibly? And what could he have done in the situation? Terroristic.
We live in a time where, we understand that at any given point,
anything can happen.
I don't want to say a terror act or this and that. I mean, anything could happen. It's not just a terrorist from another country or this and that. I mean, anybody can snap at any time. And we as adults understand that this could happen, and we understand that places like the Boston Marathon or events like that, like the Olympics years ago and stuff, I mean, that stuff can happen, and we're aware of that. Not that we expect it, but we're aware that it is a possibility. But in the mind of an 8-year-old child, he's not thinking that. I guarantee you this little guy was probably standing by the finish line, just waiting for possibly maybe a parent or a family member, or just simply watching the race. Just enjoying life. And I'm sure that was great to see all the people there, a lot of celebration, a lot of fun, just a lot of noise, a lot of color, just it's probably a fun environment to be in, and that's all he knew at the time, you know, and it just
That's
kills
all he,
me.
and that's even all he worried about. Like, he wasn't worrying about, like,
right.
oh, hey, someone could do something right now. He
You
was
don't
he
think
was
about
focused
that.
on the race, and he just wanted to have that race finished, and then something like that happens.
And it just bothers me, man. Like, this is the society that we live in, man. And I'll tell you what, like, what I wanted to do before the show, and it kind of slipped my mind, and I feel bad. We can look it up here in a minute. Was I wanted to look up some maybe numbers or websites or hotlines you could call if you're having any type of thoughts about anything. I mean, anybody who needs help, maybe needs to talk to a professional counselor, maybe somebody who's suicidal or is thinking possibly of hurting other people. If you're at a spot in your life where you maybe recognize that you need professional help, or you want to travel a road that you know is not a good thing to do, there's people out there. You know, like
Definitely.
I said, you and I are not counselors by any means.
No.
You know, like I said, we don't have those degrees, but
we do still have a say in our opinions, and our opinions may not be, you know, the most perfect and the most, like, viewed upon, but it's still, we do give great advice. We've had a lot of people come up to us just since we've been here, like since we've started hanging out. A lot of people have just come up to us and tell us our issues or their issues, right. And we would just give them our honest and positive feedback, and we would try to help them out through any situation.
Right. So that's the thing. If I understand right now, it's just family and friends who are listening to these podcasts, but if this does get out there, you know, we're going to, like, Kevin and I are starting a YouTube channel. You know, if this gets out there and you're one of the type of people who, you know, you just need somebody to talk to, like I said, we're not certified to give real advice, but we'll gladly listen, you know, and possibly address something on the show. I mean, we'll take any measure we can to help people, you know, and like I said, if you need professional help, please seek that, you know, because I can't help but think, you know, about this person who actually committed these crimes. You know, it makes me wonder what situation were they in their life where could somebody have prevented that?
It's not even the fact of where they were in their life. It's like they woke up, I'm gonna go ahead and bomb this marathon, or they were it's like they were planning it.
That's the thing. It was very premeditated. It wasn't. You know, this wasn't like a couple hand grenades that were chucked in there. These were, from what I understand.
And even if you have hand grenades on you, you're planning on doing something.
Right.
It's not like he had a pistol in his pocket and realized that someone was trying to attack him. He pulled it out and shot the guy who was trying to attack him. He had a bomb on him, or he laid a bomb down somewhere.
It may have been. Yeah, I believe they said it's possible it was set in a bag or something like that. And they said it was very crudely made, but it was still made. You know, so somebody had put this together with the intentions of hurting other people. And I can't help, you know, I like this morning, I'm not trying to, like, pat myself on the back or anything like this. You know, I do have problems in my own life. But I was sitting there praying, not only for the families, but for the people out there who are like this. And I'm not, as much as I want to say I hate this guy, as much as I want to say what was he thinking or this and that, I pray that these people find peace in their life and directions that they can go to seek help, you know. And I can't help but think that what if this, let's say it's a younger kid, I honestly don't know, but let's say it's a younger guy, what events in his life happened that brought him to a point where he feels the need to hurt other people, and were there people around him that possibly could have prevented that or helped along the way? I mean, you and I, we're not extremists, you know. Like, I had a lady just last week yell at me over outdated yogurt, you know, and like, you know, I'm not going to let that cause me to go out and just start causing harm to other people. But people are extremists, you know, and it just makes me wonder, did something happen to this kid, you know, along the lines where he felt the need to go out and do this? And it takes me back to that lady. I was thinking about this earlier today. You know, how does she know who she's talking to? You never know what type of a day the person you're talking to is having. I don't justify, you know, his acts by any means, but what I'm saying is, it just causes me to wonder if maybe along his life somewhere, maybe there are a few instances where people could have possibly treated him better, you know, and maybe this could have gone another direction. I think the way we treat each other, as simple as, let's say, on the roads, you know, cutting other people off, this and that, and then face-to-face interactions throughout the day and whatnot, I think we really do need to start treating each other better. I mean, I can't stress that enough, you know, especially working in the type of job that you and I do, where all we deal with are customers who have issues with one little product.
And this isn't trying to attack any customers or any people.
No, because we want to make sure they do have a good business experience.
Yeah, we want them to enjoy coming to our store, and we want them to enjoy shopping with us, because obviously it's business. And we also just, there's a lot of customers who come and say, "Hey, Kevin, how are you doing today?" Like, I'll have a personal conversation with all these customers. And there are customers who are going to give us a little bit more grief than others, because that's just the way that they have experienced things, and that's just their personal opinions.
I'm just going to throw this in there real quick. The good customers do outnumber the bad customers 10-1.
At least around here. Now, there are places there's going to be more bad customers.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm just saying, I just want to throw it out there that we're not complaining about all the customers, because there are a lot of good people.
And again, I'm not trying to attack any customers when it comes to store, anybody who goes into a grocery store, or anybody who shops at any store. But when you go into a store, you have to understand that not everything is going to be exactly to your specifications. Some things happen, and some things don't happen. That needs to happen. And we as workers in the store, and not just us, the whole store, managers, baggers, deli, anybody, even in retail, just the cashier that's standing behind the counter, we all are human, and we all make mistakes. You don't need to attack every little nitpicky little detail in a store. Now, some things, like if it's like, hey, there's a spill on one, that's fine, because that's actually trying to help somebody. We don't want anyone to fall. But take a moment, and like he said, you never know who you're talking to.
You never know what type of day that person's having. And you never
know what type of day that person's having, exactly.
Just like, I'll give you a quick example. Today is our, Lydia and I had a fire exactly 1 year ago today, and it destroyed about 99.9% of everything we own. We came out of that with very little afterwards. Now, luckily, we have a support of family and friends who came and helped us a lot, and I can't stress that enough. We had a lot of people come out of the woodwork that we didn't even know that helped us out. But when Lydia went to Walmart, it was the next day or a couple days, we had to get stuff. We had no clothes, this and that. She went over there, and there was a lady working the counter who I forget exactly what she said, but she made a couple comments to Lydia that was very troubling to think about. And the girl didn't know, what we had just gone through the night before, but that doesn't matter. I wish she would have shown Lydia a little bit more respect. And it kills me because you never know the type of day people are having. This lady didn't know that we had...
How could she know?
Right, she didn't know that we just lost everything the night before, but regardless, if we start treating each other better, it wouldn't have came down to that. Lydia to this day still just really thinks about that. And she said, she didn't understand what I was going through when she was kind of being rude to me. And that's the thing, we don't need to be rude to each other. We really don't. Some people just have it in their personality. They always have to find problems and this and that, And like Kevin mentioned, we work at a grocery store. A lot of the times when things aren't getting done, it's because we don't have the adequate help there. We might not have enough hours to get stuff done, but that doesn't necessarily fall back on our backs. It could be the corporation we work for is restricting hours to put more money in their pockets. And don't get me wrong, that's a whole nother podcast that we'll get to, because I've been wanting to talk about big business for a while. But what I'm saying is we can only do so much while we're there. A lot of times we're restricted with what we can do because of the hours we're given and because of the help we're given. If I'm expected to do 12 hours worth of work
in 5 hours,
in 7 or 8 hours, I can only try so hard. And I understand that may disappoint some people, and I may be the guy standing there when you find your problem, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm the cause. It could be much deeper rooted than that. But all I'm saying is, if like the lady who was rude to me, all she had to do was ask just a few simple questions and realize that there are people who are just having bad days and this and that. And I wasn't having the best day at that time. And I was so angry, man. I was so angry because I'm like, you don't understand the stuff I go through here. And it just made me so mad. And like I said, I'm not an extremist. I'm not going to go out and start hurting people on account of that. But, some people might be like that, and like I said, taking it back to this kid, you never know. Maybe if he was treated better, I don't know how his home life was. I don't know, I don't know anything about this person.
Right.
But I really hope that if there's any kids out there, young men, women, or even older men and women, it doesn't matter. If you feel like you're getting to a point in your life where you're really starting to hate people and you want to cause physical harm, then
something needs to be changed.
Right. You need to kind of analyze your life and say, is it something that I'm doing that's causing my rage? Is it something that I'm having trouble controlling? Is it, alcohol, drugs, anything? Or just maybe you're just, I don't want to say unstable, but maybe you're just having a hard time dealing with issues in your own life. Please just seek professional help. There are people out there who care.
Sometimes not even professionalism. You can find just one of your friends, one of your family members, because whether or not they're a trained professional, they still have a view, and especially if they care about you, they definitely have a view on making sure you're as safe as possible, and not even you, but people around you are safe. And if that guy, girl, whoever it was that caused all that damage, if he had just, and he may have, we don't know his story, he may have talked to all of his friends and all of his family, but still had this thought in his mind where he just really wanted to do that for some reason, or maybe he wanted to get one person specifically, but happened to overanalyze his attack. It may have been just meant for one person, may have been meant for a big crowd. But if he had talked to a professional, as John's saying, or even just his or her mom, dad, grandma,
anybody,
kid, if he has a kid. Sometimes kids are the most, the biggest critiques, especially when it comes to something as weird as it is, especially when it comes to something serious or something food related. Kids are the best to talk to. Because they don't really have a life experience. They just, all they do is tell you straight up.
Kids are pretty honest.
They are
about a lot of stuff.
If you have bad food, they'll tell you. If you say something wrong, they'll tell you. They don't care because they don't know anything different. They just know, hey, this isn't good. I don't want to eat it, or something like that.
And that's the thing. But even if you talk to a kid, you don't have to say oh, I'm planning on killing somebody. Just be like, hey, I'm in a bad mood. Kids have so much fun stuff to say, and
they're always so they're always just so into talking. You can just enjoy a day by just talking to a kid.
Yeah, but what we're saying is, please, there's people out there that actually care, and I understand that. Especially, Boston's a big city, and maybe it's harder to find people who care there. I don't know. Maybe people are just harder there, and they have a harder, attitude and stuff, and I don't know. But if you ever come to a point where you think that somebody doesn't care about you, then
you're wrong.
I want to say you're wrong. Because us, you and myself, we care about people in general.
Whether or not
it doesn't have to be an individual.
We may not have even never met them.
Right. We care about life, and we care about people just doing well with themselves. And I'll tell you what, I read another story. I didn't share this with you just yet. I read another story, I saw a YouTube video about, and it's gonna kill me because I don't know where it was in Africa. It was an African country, and I just, for some reason, it's just slipping my mind. I can't think of where it was. But regardless, this happens in a lot of different places, not just in this area. But it was a city of, I want to say, about 30 to 40 million people. And it was showing these families of, let's give or take, 4 to 8 people. Multiple families living in the same shack. I'm talking like a 10 by 10 shack with barely a roof over them. They each would have just a couple feet for the entire family, and they would just beg to make a living. And they had no clean water. They barely had food to survive. Some of these people had to build their own boats and sleep on the boats because they had nowhere to go in the water. And it was horrible living situations. And the cameras were showing the area and this and that. And
no, I'm not sure. It may come to you if I tell you it's a certain place. Is it Sudan?
That does not sound familiar.
Okay, because I know there's a lot of stuff that happens in Sudan. A lot of it's kind of genocide style. A lot of bad things happen in Sudan, and there's actually the story about the Lost Boys. I don't know if you've heard about the Lost Boys.
I don't.
Me and my girlfriend, especially my girlfriend, she is a big anti-genocide. She's in this stand community thing where they stand up against genocide and whatnot. And in Sudan, there's this genocide going on, and there's these 4 guys who are from Sudan. And every so often in their country, they put a posting on a piece of board, and these are the people who are going to the United States, and these are the people who are getting out, and they're going to a random city, and they're living off, I think it's off the government. I think the government pays for, at least to get them started, and then from there they make up for their own stuff, and they live their own. But I didn't know if Sudan was the place, but what that is like, it's a program getting these people out of this genocide. Now, I know a lot of other countries look down on the United States and look down on America, how bad we are and all this stuff. And I know we have a lot of negativity in our country, and I know we have a lot of of bad things happen, and our government's not the best.
We do, and you know what? I'm just as guilty as that too. I complain, a lot, not a lot, but I complain here and there about things the government restricts on us, this and that. But when it comes down to it, this is one of the freest countries in the world.
Yeah.
Men and women have died in order to keep the freedom here, and we do appreciate being Americans. We do. And I mean, even some of the most. My dad's always told me this, and now I'm starting to see it. Is that out of all the countries in the world, even our poorest people are still
doing better off,
way more wealthy than other people in other countries. And back to what I was saying, what happened was, at the end of the video, I was talking about all the money that this particular country's government had. I mean, you wouldn't believe the luxuries that this government lives by. And to look down on your people and knowing that they're literally starving, literally have nothing. There's no jobs, there's no potential earnings. I mean, they have nothing. And you're sitting back in your mansions, in your palaces, with your staff and your unlimited food supplies and this and that. We need to stop that, man. We need to stop, because we are all human beings. I don't care what color you are, what race, what ethnic background. I don't give a crap. We are all equally the same, all born under the same God equally. We need to start treating each other better, and it's just as bad here.
And we're not even saying like go around giving everybody a hug and going around, doing these crazy feats like a hero. We're just talking about treating people with just a little bit more respect. At least think about things you're gonna do or say before it happens. Like, if you're thinking about, like, let's say you're at a restaurant and the waitress accidentally spills something on you, don't get mad and punch her in the face. Just take a second, be like, it's okay, things happen. Can I just have another water? Or whatever. Just
little. I mean, I personally think that the world can change. As much as I want to say that's almost impossible because of the state which a lot of people's mindsets are right now. I think this world can change for the better. But where I believe it starts is individually in each one of us.
Yeah.
It might start off with something as simple as if you're walking past somebody, instead of looking the other way, maybe make eye contact, give them even a head nod. Say
even
hello,
a
smile. Because I've known people at times where there's one particular customer that comes in our store. Her name's Carolyn, and I love her.
Oh no.
She comes in, and regardless of my day, she always gives me a hug. And I don't want to. She's not old or anything, but she's an older woman. And she's just, I don't want to say she's always happy, because she tells me at times that she has problems too. But regardless of what's going on in her life, she always comes in and gives me a hug, and every single time it makes me feel better. Now, she doesn't have to give me a hug, but what I appreciate is the fact that she comes in with a positive attitude regardless of what's going on.
Yeah.
And I think it's her mindset that helps my mindset. And now if I'm in a better mood, thanks to Carolyn, let's say, we mentioned in the first podcast that you and I vent to each other a lot.
Yeah.
If I'm in a good mood now, and you're kind of, having a hard time up front, if I come talk to you, man, maybe that'll lighten your mood. And in turn, you help the next guy. And that guy leaves our store and goes over to another store. And he,
and it's
you
not even,
you never know.
It's not even like that. It's like, and there's that saying, like, smiling is contagious, or happiness. Right. I don't know exactly what the saying is, but something about how it's contagious. And it really is. Like, if a customer comes in and you're just having a crappy day, and a customer comes in and just gives you that smile, you just feel better. And then you give the next customer a smile, and it's not even the fact that you smiled or anything. It's like you treat that customer a little nicer, so then their day is a little better. And that could have been, let's say they're that one problem customer, because every store has that one customer that comes in and they try to find something wrong with everything, and they have the worst attitude possible when it comes to finding things in the store that they don't agree with. And it makes our day as an employee, it just makes our day a little bit, not worse, but a little bit more negative, because then we have that in our head, like, why did this have to happen? And then our next customer sees that we're not in a good mood, so they feel like something's not going on. And maybe my actions are different because of what the last customer's mood was. Like, if the last customer came up to me and was negative, I may feel negative, so I may not even give the next customer the time of day that they need.
Right, that resonates. I think negativity resonates way more than positivity does. And like we said, we have a lot of great customers that come in.
Yeah.
But that stuff gets overshadowed when the negative stuff happens. And you know what? Maybe that falls back on us too. Maybe we can change the way we act ourselves when those particular situations happen, you know? I mean, maybe we can say, you know what, let's let it go. And I have a hard time doing that. I don't know about you, but I have a hard time once I have a grudge, you know, I have a hard time. I have a hard time getting over stuff, and that's one of my faults, you know, but I also think I can improve, and I know everybody else can improve also. I just really think, you know, if we start bringing more positivity to the world, I really think situations like this, they will continue to happen, but I definitely think it won't be as frequent, and the hatred towards other people will slowly start to diminish. And I truly believe that. And another thing I wanted to talk about is, now I don't know what your opinion is on this, but I want to read about what happens to these people. I want to read to make sure that they found this person and that, you know, the right people are served the correct justice for it. You know, I want to make sure that those you know, men and women who die and are injured because of this, they're essentially I don't want to say revenge is taken, but I mean, I want to make sure
they want some sort of vengeance or some sort of leisure or some sort of safety net, feeling that the person who's done this is taken care of. Not taken care of, but at least held back.
Right, you know what I'm saying? I know exactly. I want to make sure those people are taken care of in a way. I don't know how to explain it, but I think one thing that the media should really consider is, I understand that the media is the media. They make their money, they gain their viewers by reporting stuff. Especially
the negative stuff, because that's what people like to watch.
But I think there is a point where it becomes too much. Too much, because what we do, and you notice a rash of school shootings lately too. I think what happens is these young kids get it in their mind that they can become famous overnight. If they're angry, if they're just hating the world, they know that if they walk into a school building or if they walk anywhere, even like the Boston Marathon, anywhere, and they start injuring people, it's going to make national news.
It's going to.
Their faces are going to be on TV. Their names will be on TV, depending on if they're a minor or, you know, of age. I mean, that stuff does matter, but these people become famous. And I almost think that at times, when the media reports this, it's almost giving the person encouragement, exactly. You know, I think if you want to report the story, report the story. Give us the facts, that's fine. Let us know a gentleman, a woman, a group of people have been contained, and just let it go. Don't give me their names, don't give me their faces. You know, because I don't even know if I want to take it that far, because I almost see these kids gaining instant fame. I mean, just look at Timothy McVeigh, the Unabomber. You know, like, I know his name, I know what he looks like, and I know what he did. And I hate to say it, but that's how he put his name in history, by doing something so horrific. I wish I didn't know that. I wish I didn't know it, because I don't want to give him the time of day like that. I don't want to give these people the time of day, because there's so many people that did positive things in history, that those are the people that deserve recognition. You know, there's somebody out there right now working to cure cancer. There's somebody right now working with
all those children victims of the Boston Marathon who were, and most of them are probably even volunteers.
Right.
They're just taking time out of their day to go over to this stadium, or going to each person's individual house or their hospital room.
Well, I believe they actually run through Boston. I believe it's literally a course through the city. You know, so those are people that were just hanging out on sidewalks, this and that. Those are the people that deserve to get recognized. It's just like when 9/11 happened. The firefighters, they deserve to be reported about, not the people that went through with it. You know, it's the heroes we need to start promoting and putting in the news. And that's one thing that's always kind of bothered me.
It's bothered me too. I've only paid attention to a lot of this stuff for the past maybe 5 years. I'm 21 now, so high school, 16-year-old, you're not really too focused on the news and what's going on around you in the world and even in the nation. But like, at least more recently, I have been, and exactly like what you're saying, promote the heroes more than, I guess you could say, the zeros. You know,
right?
Give the people who are volunteering, give the people who are giving everything they got, everything they have, just to make sure that you and I have a little bit better on our plate. You know, they're not being recognized nearly enough, and I know we don't really give them all the much justice, because we're not a newscast who's on national TV right now. But if this message can just get out to one person, maybe even a day, like if anybody listening can just give that one person the recognition they deserve, or that one person to smile that's going to make their day better, we've done our job. We
Because-
feel better every day. We feel better with our position of doing this. The main reason we're doing this is for that feedback of saying, hey, Kevin, hey, John, I just want to let you know that today was a great day because I helped somebody. If you guys ever have a day where you just help someone, please let us know. We would love to hear it because it makes us feel better knowing that we are helping other people.
Right. And this message, just the positivity, the happiness, it's greater than any success we could possibly have with this show that we do. We do this for fun.
And we're not doing this for fiscal gain. We're not doing this for...
If that stuff happened, that's great. But we really, really want to emphasize bringing positivity to the world. We really do. Because it just... This is a voice. This right here, this recording, our YouTube channel, this and that, that's going to give us a voice. It may only reach a couple people, but maybe one of those people need reach to. Maybe we need to reach out and say, hey, we're here, we care, this is how you can contact us. Because you can email us at any time.
Anytime. And like he said, we have a YouTube channel now. Please stop on it. I think it's we just started up maybe like 20 minutes before we started recording. And it's just go to YouTube, and it's literally Just Kidding with J and K. Go there, subscribe to us. You don't even have to subscribe. Just go there and check out, and even leave us a message saying, "Hey John, hey Kevin."
You want to say our email address too? Just
our email address is actually the same thing. It's Just Kidding with J and K at Gmail. Everything we're gonna do is gonna try to be as uniform as possible. We're gonna try to keep everything Just Kidding with J and K because we don't want you guys to have to remember five different things for each website we decided to use. We just want everybody to know us by one name. And that's going to be Just Kidding with J and K. And please stop by YouTube. Let us know any suggestions you have. Let us know any positivity that you've put on other people. Anything that just makes your day better, or can help make our day better, or even help make this podcast better. Anything, just let us know. We're going to try to read every message possible. We're not going to ignore you just because we have a lot of messages today. I'm just going to skip a few and get to every other one. No, we're going to read each one individually.
Do our best, right? And another thing I was thinking about today is, like I said, we want to promote the heroes. Right. It's another thing. And a friend of mine, a real good friend of mine, one of my best friends, his name's Richie, and Richie's been in the military since we graduated. Now, when in 2001, right after 9/11 happened, I wanted to go to the Air Force, and I tore the ACL on my right knee, and unfortunately the plan didn't unfold. And a few days later, literally, is when the planes hit the buildings, and a lot of people I knew signed up and left for overseas, and Richie was one of them. And I hated seeing one of my best friends leave. I hated watching him go away because I enjoyed hanging out with him, but like I said, that was 2001. Here we are in 2013, and Richie's still in the Air Force, has a beautiful wife and great kids. And, I just want to say I appreciate him as a soldier doing what he does because he's been overseas. He's gone to a few different places, and, he's seen some things. And to me, Richie's a hero. He
in his own way.
Yeah, and we have a Marine base right up the road, and you can't tell me that there hasn't been Marines in and out of that base who haven't been injured in action or shot, or some people possibly paralyzed. You never know. Like, to me, those are the heroes.
Right.
The people you never know their name. You know that there's people like them out there, but you just don't know who they are. And we want to say thank you to those people. We want to promote the heroes, and it's people like that we appreciate. And I just hate seeing this stuff in the news, and I just don't want to promote the negativity on which that person brought. I don't know. It's just bothering me.
And like I said earlier, I haven't been paying much attention to the news recently. But I mean, like before, high school and whatnot. But recently I have. And recently, honestly, I just haven't wanted to either because of the amount of bad casts or bad news reportings that they show us. It's like, hey, this happened here, and it's all bad stuff. It's not like, hey, we just wanted to drop a quick news report on this guy who decided to save this old lady from a semi-truck. It's never about stuff like that. It's always about, hey, a semi-truck just hit an old lady. I mean, I know that's a little silly, but
no, but really, I really think the media could take a step back and let's be honest. I know it's all about the bottom line for them. It's all about viewers. It's all about money.
Everything's a business.
Everything's a business, but it doesn't have to be. We can all start making that change in each one of us and hope that spreads, because let me tell you, I can assure you right now, yes, I want to know what's going on around the world, but we can start reporting on positive things and making a change for the better. We honestly can, and I feel it would work. And I don't mean to sound, I sound so jumbled today, and I sound so misguided and whatnot, but because it's really bothering me knowing that these people, I don't even know how far away they're, just a couple states away, man, are just going through so much right now.
Massachusetts, that's about 4 or 5 states away from us.
Yeah, and
which doesn't sound like a lot, but
bothered me. And
there's a lot of skinny states.
Especially being on American soil, it feels so close to home for me. And don't get me wrong, I don't want violence anywhere in the world, anywhere, but it really strikes home, when it's here in America, and I hate that. I hate that, but like I said, I want to get that stuff off my chest.
And another bad thing about like what you're saying about the American soil, it's not even the fact that it's American soil, it's the fact that it's an American doing that. Typically, I mean not always, because there has been other countries coming in. There's been other things with other ethnicities and whatnot, but it's like when not only does it happen in America, it happens from an American. It's like,
I'm curious. That's one thing that I don't think they've pinpointed yet. Who the actual,
right,
who the guilty party was in this point. I personally would go out on a limb and say I do feel they were homegrown.
Yeah.
I do feel it might have been somebody here. I mean, regardless, it's terrible anyway. Regardless of where they're coming from. But I do think it probably is in this case. That's my personal opinion.
And I don't know how many viewers we're going to get in the range about high school, middle school level, but probably not too many. But I also feel like a lot of adults that have these issues that go on these, I guess, tangents and do these horrible things, a lot of it probably does happen in their middle school, elementary, high school times. But whenever they're bullied, or if they are bullied or whatever, it sticks with you. And if you're in the middle school, high school area and someone's bullying you, or if you're bullying someone, please stop. It does affect.
It's not cool.
And it does affect people. It affects them personally, mentally, physically, and in every way possible for the rest of their life.
That's very long term. The effects of if you're bullying somebody in order to make your friends laugh, I can assure you right now that a couple years down the line,
you're not going to be friends with them anymore anyway.
You're probably not going to be friends with those people. And not to mention that is like they're not going to still find what you did funny. And chances are they'll forget about it. But the person you're bullying, chances are they'll remember that for a long time.
And they're not going to forget it.
And I'm currently in the process of writing a book. And I'll probably touch on that some other podcast because I'm not about to promote this right now. But what I'm saying is I'm in the process of writing a book. And one of the characters in my book is based off of somebody I went to high school with, man. It bothered me, and I'm, like I said, I'm not a violent person. I've learned to deal with stuff, and I'm a different guy now, but that was it left such an impression on how this particular person treated me in high school that I feel like I need to base a character in my book on him, so that's stuck around way more than a lot of positive things that happen in high school. I mean, these do have lasting effects.
Yeah, and they have mental and physical effects. Like I said, whenever you were talking about the kid on YouTube who got slammed, that was my psychology project that we did, and my project was about bullying. So we talked a lot about bullying. I talked for about like 30 minutes just straight on the effects of bullying and what it does now and later. And if you're being bullied right now, you may take it personally, and it's going to be tough. But like both of us have said, I don't know. I also don't know how many we're going to get, but please do, if you need to, talk to us.
Right.
If you need, I mean, and we don't know you. We most likely won't know you personally. We don't know your whole story. But if you take the minutes, take the day, whatever, to come, email us, drop us a message on YouTube, something, we can get to know you and we can hopefully help you out a little bit. Now we can
probably relate to a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, and I don't typically like to bring up a lot of like childhood stuff, but everyone's been bullied at least once, and even if you are typically the bully, you've been bullied. It just happens. It's the way of life, and it's gonna happen. And we know we're not gonna stop it, but we just want to reduce it. We want to take it back and stop with such, like, there's so much bullying going on that we just want to tone it down. Let's say there's 50% of students in a school being bullied. We want to change that to 45% at least. We want to change I know it's only 5%, but that could be a big change.
I mean, we want to drop it by any means necessary, hopefully to 0%. And I'll tell you what, part of that message does go to the people who are bullying, because trust me, it's not worth it in the long run to what you're going to do to people. But to the people who are being bullied, just want to let you know, my wife is a teacher. She sees this stuff and she does the best she can to try to keep up on it. But when you have one teacher for a classroom of, let's say, 25 students,
that's only one
there's
class.
Going to be things, while you're helping a student, there's going to be things going on in the classroom. Okay, so just because your teacher might not see it happening doesn't mean that you can't tell that particular teacher. Go to your teachers, go to your principal, go to your parents, tell them what's going on, because you want to stop it from escalating. Not only do you not want people messing with you, but let's say that bully starts to get, let's say he starts picking on you at first, and then he moves on to one of your friends a couple days from now, and then that might just keep snowballing, and eventually that kid might become just a full-out jerk. But if you stop it right now, you never know. You might change that kid's heart, and he might say, you know what, this isn't cool, because it's not. Bullying other people is not cool. We're not talking about teasing like your friends and stuff. We're talking about being hurtful towards other people.
And being hurtful purposefully. Like, I mean, every so often someone will say a comment that isn't the nicest, but sometimes it's an accident. And we know that. We know that. But if you are going out of your way to hurt other people, that's what we mean.
Right, people who are being malicious towards one another purposefully.
Exactly. Good word, too.
I just said right. But I'm just saying that, like, that. I'm telling you, man, I just, we can, and parents, if you're listening to this, let me tell you what, the teachers do their best. Now, I'm not saying every teacher out there is a great teacher, but I know my wife is a great teacher. And sometimes I've seen parents in the past get upset with her over stuff. We need to start taking our children and making them responsible for their own actions. Let's stop blaming other kids, stop blaming the teachers, the principals for missing stuff. No, we need to start stepping into our children's lives, getting more involved, and saying, okay, let's try to do our best to make sure we know what's going on with our kid, know how they're acting in school. And it's not going to be perfect, but I'm telling you, man, things get passed off. The teachers get so much blame, the school systems get so much blame over a lot of stuff that should have been corrected in the home. Exactly. And they can't say that. Exactly. My wife can't tell a parent, oh, well, you don't work with your child, so I have to deal with it. We should not have to pay our teachers to raise our children and babysit. That's absolutely correct. I mean, there's, they don't respect education and the free education in this country like they should. There's other places in the world where they have to pay for their education. I'm talking like on a public level, like middle school, high school, stuff like that, to pay. This country's free, and I'm telling you, it's crazy. A lot of stuff, needs to start being corrected in the home. And like I said, and if there's any kids out there whose parents may not, I hate to say it like this, but don't give them the time of day, or like I said, you need another voice, please email us if you need to, if you want to start off like that, or contact the counselor in your school. They'll be glad to sit down there and talk with you and figure stuff out. Whether you're going through physical abuse, mental abuse. I know there's a lot of kids. I've heard stories about kids not being able to eat. The schools will literally send food home with them just so that kid has a meal to eat when they get home for the weekend. And that's horrible. If you need some help or you need somebody to talk to, please seek professional help, and don't be afraid to do so. There's hotlines you can call that are very anonymous. You don't have to give your name. You don't have to give your age. You just talk. And just get some advice. If you really need that, please do. Please seek that out.
And another thing, going off of the whole parent-child relationship, like I said, we're bringing positivity. And I also said earlier, if we can help one person a day with just a smile, then we did our job. We also, we also want you as a parent, because he kind of directed this a little bit towards parents. After this podcast, tomorrow, the next day, someday, both of us want you just to spend 30 minutes outside with your kid. It's getting spring right now, so it's getting nicer weather. Just spend 30 minutes with your kid. make their day that much better.
You never know.
And it doesn't even have to be outside. I was just picturing like playing ball with my. I don't have a son, but if I did, go out and play some ball.
Yeah, or do a board game.
Something.
You want to be able to appreciate your family while they're there. Because like I said, I just think about this 8-year-old little boy, and I just can't help it. It just breaks my heart. And I'm sure his parents, they were probably great parents. They probably spent time with him and stuff.
That's probably why they're at the marathon, probably. They just wanted a day alone with just the 3 of them, or 4, however many.
Yeah, right. And I can't help but think about that, and I could not be able to handle that. So I just couldn't picture having somebody so close to me like that you would have such a bond with being taken away from you. Like, I've lost people very close to me, but not like that, and I can't imagine that. So we have an opportunity now, while we're alive and here, to reach out to loved ones that we may interact with fairly frequently, or even people who you haven't talked to in a few months, or even years. Maybe you've argued in the past, and you don't talk to, like, let's say a family member or a friend and stuff. You can learn to let stuff go. And like I said, I'm a person who I've always held grudges, and I'm stubborn when it comes to that. And that's something I'm trying to correct in my own personal life. And now I don't have anybody I don't necessarily talk to. I can't really recall anybody, but I know there are people out there who do. And maybe now's a good time to just reach out and say, hey, whatever happened. Let's just clean the slate, and just become friends again. And
his wife, Lydia, is a teacher, and I've actually done some teaching. I was an education major for a little bit, and I actually taught high school, and I've also taught a middle school. I taught 1.5 years at the high school, and I taught 1 class in the middle school. And it happens, like we were saying, bullying happens, and it happens quite often. And he even said, Lydia, another teacher, anybody may not see it, but it happens. And if you're the parent right now, and your kid is if you're unsure if your kid is being bullied or bullied, chances are they are one or the other. You may even need to ask them,
or at least witness it.
At least exactly.
That's something we didn't talk about. And even if you're witnessing this,
it still
do
affects
not
you.
be afraid, right? Or you might be able to help somebody out. If there's a child who's getting picked on, or even, let's say, an adult coworker that you're seeing being abused, I want to say it's almost your duty to step forward, tell somebody with some authority, whether it be a teacher at school, whether it be your boss at work, or maybe even the owner of a company, something. Step forward and help them, because maybe they're too shy themselves to say anything, or maybe they're too, let's say they don't want to get somebody in trouble themselves, even though they might be the ones getting picked on. You might be able to change somebody else's day by being proactive and taking that step to help.
Yeah.
And it's not just bullying; it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just what we're saying is plain and simple. If you have demons in your own lives, things that you're struggling with, please share them with other people. Talk about it. Work them out. Do what you possibly can. Use your resources to try to bring, a better quality of life to yourself and others. It's as simple as that, But like I said, I just apologize for being so just thrown off today. This is something I really need to get off my heart.
And we both apologize. And like I said at the beginning, we knew this was going to be more of a somber setting, and it had to be addressed. And we apologize if this is kind of thrown off your day a little bit. We know it's probably going to, but if we throw off your day right now, we're sorry, but turn it around. Bring the positive message that we're bringing out of this. Bring it out and put it on someone else. Even if the person's already having a great day, put it on them. There's actually this one guy we used to work with, and his name is Mason. Every day, he looked at every day as the great day possible. Every day he would come in and he's like, how was your day, Kevin? I was like,
very enthusiastic.
Very enthusiastic. He was like, how was your day, Kevin? I'm like, my day is going pretty good. How's yours? My day is fantastic.
And that's not saying that he didn't have bad days.
He has, and I've actually talked to him on one of his bad days, and he still makes it as positive as he can, at least to people around him.
Right.
And I know sometimes that's bottling it in, but
at the same time, it's good to it's good to stay positive.
Yeah.
And if you are bottling stuff in, whether Mason was or wasn't, regardless, if you are, you should talk to somebody.
Yeah, and he does. He's a really great guy.
Right.
He was like, "How's your day?" Mine's great. How was yours? Fantastic. Every day is a great day.
Every day.
I always look at the next day to be the next positive day of my life. He always says that. He always says something very similar to that. And anyone who listens who knows Mason, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and you're probably smiling right now because you know how true it is.
Right, and you know what? Some people, I do believe that personality-wise, that could be more difficult for some people. Mason's just a positive guy the time.
He's always been like that.
And sometimes I may have a harder time than people like Mason being positive like that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I shouldn't try to put in the hard work to get to that point. Like I said, I feel that we all have something inside of us that we know that we can improve on. Right. Some more than others, but I think we can try to improve ourselves and become more positive. And it might be simple, like Mason. He always wants to shake your hand or give you a high five. He always wants to make physical contact and say hello. There's always that eye contact. He's always smiling.
And if you want to talk to him, he'll talk.
Right.
He'll just listen.
And you never know when maybe eye contact, a head nod, a handshake, a hello, you never know when that could possibly alter the course of somebody's day for the better.
Exactly.
And I think that's something we need to concentrate on. And the thing is, I'm not asking you to say right now, I'm going to be the most positive person in the world, have it last for a day or two, and then just kind of sink into the same type of a lifestyle. As with me, and I'm sure Kevin's going to do the same thing, and with all our listeners, I guess what we challenge you to do is change something very, very small about yourself, and just work on one small thing at a time. And over the course of time, you'll be doing a lot better. It's almost kind of like, and I'll use this analogy, almost like a marathon runner. You don't start off by running 52 miles. You don't start off by running 100 miles. You start off by taking your first couple steps. And you build up from there.
And you run a mile, and then you work on the next week, you'll do 2 miles. And
right.
Exactly. It's kind of the opposite of a slippery slope. Slippery slope's all negative, going downhill. I guess it could be like a mountain range.
Right. This is like climbing a mountain. And it will be difficult for some people.
And it'll be more difficult for others. And we're not even asking you to go around and, hug every person you see. We're just talking about he kind of used...
Unless you're extremely good looking, then I guess you can hug everybody you see, and they'll probably be okay with it.
It's just we just want positivity going out to as many people as possible, and we apologize for the little bit more of the sad post today. We do apologize, and next one's gonna try to be more upscale, more upbeat. We're gonna talk about us a little bit, our activities that we do outside of this and outside of work, kind of our, like I said, our hobbies and whatnot. We didn't touch that today, which again, we're sorry. We're gonna actually cut this one a little short due to
it's almost kind of like a special edition.
This is kind of like gonna be an extra post. We're gonna still we're gonna try to keep up with the once a week type of thing. We're sorry that we're cutting a little close or a little short than we usually do,
and we didn't have an outline today. Usually we kind of have a couple bullet points that we want to touch on.
This one was just us just talking from our heart,
right?
Pretty much,
right. That's exactly what I was just about to say. To be honest with you,
and we're gonna probably go ahead and cut it here. Like I said, leave us an email at our email justkiddingwithjandk@gmail. Hop on YouTube, Just Kidding with J&K. It shouldn't be too hard to find us anywhere you go. We don't have a few websites up yet because we haven't broadened our horizons just yet. We're going to go ahead and leave it off with that, and we apologize for if we upset you or anything. And next one we will be a little bit more positive, and we'll get it going up again. And you guys have a great day and make someone else's day great.
All right, have a wonderful and positive day, everybody.
See you guys later.
Bye-bye.